Hi, I'm Carrie Ann Stout, founder and CEO of Vinco Bar Coaching, and we are continuing on with our interview with a coach series. And today we have joining us Coach Adam. Hello and welcome. How you doing?
Hi, Carrie. Hi, Carrie and Vinco.
Carrie Ann and Bingo. So you're going to talk with us a bit today, a little bit about your bar prep experience, give some advice, and we're just trying to let people know more about us, right? Like that Bingo isn't just me sitting in a room. There's a whole bunch
not,
of us.
not anymore.
Not anymore, right? It was me at my kitchen table for the longest
Yep.
time, but now we have a whole
Started
army.
from the bottom.
Oh man, I can already tell we're gonna go left. All right, so let's jump right in. This is a question that I get asked of myself a lot, right? Like, why in your right mind do you want to do bar prep over and over again? Because a lot of people are like, hey, that wasn't a really pleasant experience. I don't want to go back through it. So you're a busy guy, you got family, you got a full-time job. Why do you choose to spend any of your free time doing this bar coaching thing?
Well, it's very simple. Since the time I graduated college, I've always wanted to help people, especially people who are, either less fortunate than me or people who are just going through a tough time at this moment. So I know what the struggle was when I took the bar. And if I could do anything to help someone not go through those struggles again, that's my passion. It's that's what I do in my job. It's what I've done throughout my adult life. So, why not? The bar is a huge accomplishment, and I would love to be a part of helping others accomplish that goal.
Right? It's like feels good for us too, right? Sometimes I'm like, it's
Yeah,
actually a little selfish. Like I feel great
yeah,
when our students are successful.
yeah.
It's a good feeling.
And
Yeah.
also, I'm doing it anyway, like helping my friends out. Like even if I'm not a part of Vinco, like I'm still like, hey, this is what you need to do. Like I talked to so many of my classmates about what I should do. I'm like, hey, I might as well do it in a actual capacity and not
Yeah.
just have them call me when they have questions. So,
Yeah,
so
Adam, everyone knows that like if they're taking the bar and they know Adam, that they'll be hearing from him at some point. It's like it
yeah,
is well known in our community.
yeah, exactly.
And so, on that note of like knowing what the experience is like, a lot of people feel like people who've passed the bar, it was super easy for them, and that it it wasn't a struggle. And so I've been loving to hear from the coaches about like what actually sucked for you when you took the bar exam. What was a struggle for you?
Well, when I took the bar the first time, it was a struggle of like not having any real structure. I mean, I had a bar prep course, but I just didn't. I was very frustrated on how things were going. I didn't have anybody to talk to, no one to really guide me on a personal level besides my classmates, and it just was overall a very painful experience, and just not actually knowing if I'm doing things right, and having to see like, okay, well, it's kind of a trial and error. I'm hoping I'm doing it right, but I won't know until I, take the bar, and by that time, it's probably too late if you're not doing things right. So that first time it was a real painful experience for me. So
And do you feel now? I feel like we need to put like a cherry on top of that story, right? Like, so it's like so it was that lack of structure. But then on the time that you were successful, what was
yeah,
different about it?
well, obviously, I had a great coach,
Well,
Carrie Ann.
obviously, right? Like, you could, okay, like let's
And
get that out in the open. Like, Adam's a product of our services, but you made changes to how you were
Oh
studying.
wow! I mean, it was a totally different experience when I hired you as my coach. Like I actually, I took the bar the first time in July, and then the second time for the February sitting, and I didn't even know I was really studying for the bar. Like the experience was peaceful. I had another student of yours who I was studying with every day. Like it was totally different. Like I had a structure. I had you staying on my behind every second to make sure that I was doing everything right, holding me accountable, and letting me know that, hey, I'm doing this right, or I need to make improvements in this area. So it was a lot less stressful, and the whole experience was pretty much, I don't want to say a walk in the park, but it was so much easier. I knew I passed when I walked away from that test.
That's a conversation I've actually been having because I've been chatting with the students over this weekend too, and I feel like that's a feeling that only a repeat taker gets, is like
Mhm.
they know the difference. Like first time takers, it's always like it could be yes, it could be no. It's like because you don't know what to expect, but
Mhm.
when you've done it once and you know what being prepared feels like now. So
Exactly.
that's been an interesting point that's come up a couple of times,
Yeah.
and so, now that you've been through it, you're on the other side of that and you're working with students, what is a big trap that you see students fall into during bar prep where like you're on the outside and you're like, no, don't do that, but they fall for it anyway?
Okay. It's a couple traps.
Yeah.
The first one is that when you're taking this bar, you kind of have to make it your number one priority. I realize, as I'm an adult, I have, a family or whatever. It's like, I know things happen in life, but if you don't put this on your top two priority list, it's going to be very hard for you to be successful in this exam. And a lot of students, they have other things going on in life, which I completely understand. Some things are, unforeseen, but like a lot of things are in their control, and they're just not able to say, hey, this is a very important test that takes a lot out of you, and you have to dedicate the time and effort into preparing for it. And a lot of students, especially the first time, they don't really understand that. It's kind of like, oh, okay, this is what they meant. Like, you really have to treat it like a full-time job when you're taking this exam, and you have to make it as the utmost important at that time, or you're going to
Yeah.
put yourself in a very bad position. And the second thing I would say is a trap that students fall into, which I did the first time, is that they study the law and not practice the test, or vice versa. You have to practice the test. If you don't practice the test, your time is going to be off, and you're just not going to know how to perform accurately in that time constraints. So, making it a priority and also practicing the test as well as studying for the substance of the test, which is only half of it.
And I think on that first note about like making it that priority, as you know, since many of our students are repeat takers, some of them don't get the luxury of taking the time off from work. Like they lose their
Mhm.
job, or at that point they can't afford it anymore. And it's really about like almost more what I'm hearing from you. It's more about like the mindset with which you approach the test than like your actual available time, because we have lots of students who are working who pass the test, right? Like
Yeah,
I talked to Vanessa, who was working full time and momming full time and all of that,
yeah,
but like she had that same exact mindset like you're talking about, where it's like it's mom, work, and
mhm,
bar, and blinders on to
yeah.
everything else. And I think that's really important to,
And that's not to say that you can't do other things. You can still have, a little bit of life, but you just
yeah.
have to know, like, you might not be able to sleep as much on the weekends, or you might have to miss that one party, or, you can still go to the gym. You can still, I think you had me on a schedule where I could go to the movies every Friday, and,
Yeah.
and still like
What's
it wasn't a
important to
problem.
you, right? You have to
Yeah.
make, but you can't do all the things, right? You have to make those decisions. I think that's
Yes.
really important.
It's too much of a sacrifice to open that email and see congratulations, you passed the bar. And at that point it was totally worth it. Like, I wouldn't say I would do it again, but it
Hey
was
man, you're in bar prep now.
fulfilling.
You never know what
Mhm.
we might call you back up to action. But
Yeah.
sort of on that, and I think we covered this a little bit, but if you and you do talk to students all the time who are asking you for advice, even mostly before they get to me,
Yeah.
what's like the top thing that you tell them? Like number one thing going into bar prep, do this. This is really important. Or maybe two things, but one or two things that are like students must do.
I tell them that they must do at least 3,000 or more MBEs, get as much practice essays as possible, and manage their time well, and also have some me time. You don't want to burn out. You don't want to go so hard in the beginning that you have nothing left in the end. But
Yeah.
you gotta pace yourself and manage your time. Like, it's doable. This test is designed for you to pass, but you have to put in the work and effort to do that. So yeah, just and practice the test,
Practice, practice, practice. Practice makes
and
passing. That's all we
yeah,
need. We don't need
and
perfect. We just need
yeah,
passing.
and involve your family and friends who are there to support you. Like
Mm.
you need support from your outer circle. They have to understand what you're going through, and have them take you out to dinner, or help them test you on the exam, like anything they could do, and make it a top priority. I can't stress that enough. If you have it, if it's the sixth thing you do today, then it's probably not going to be very well for you. It has to be eat, sleep, go to work or whatever, and study. It's your life for 2 months.
And then you get that letter, right? And then things can go back to things can go back to normal.
Cry like a baby, like I did.
Listen, and I do that now. I do that for myself, and then I do that for 30, 40, 50 students. I have no more tears. My tear ducts are just tied up. So my last question for you is, this bar prep thing that you're doing and this paying it forward and helping out, you don't have to do that at Vinco. You could do that with another company. And so one thing I want the coaches to talk about and speak to is like, why Vinco? What's special or unique about this company that would maybe make a student want to join us and be part of what we're doing here?
I have one word to say about that, and that is carrying.
Stop it.
When you asked me to be the coach, like I didn't even think twice about it. I realized how much you gave towards me, and anything I could do to help you, why not? And just the time I've been with Vinco, like the other coaches, they've been so helpful. It's like a really nice team environment. Like if I don't know something, then it's just one text or call away to asking someone, hey, like, how do I do this? Or what should I tell this student? Or, it's very easy to find what you need help with. You don't let us go anywhere alone. Like you're always there. I've had your personal cell number for over a year, and we probably have 5 days of thread days that is just endless, so just the whole, everyone's so supportive of each other, and there's no one that's going to leave you hanging for anything.
I love that you love that about this, because like we started off saying, like I have come a long way since me alone at my kitchen table, and I have had some growing pains with Vinco, because there was this struggle when I was stepping away from coaching more, that like people didn't want to work with anyone other than me. And from where I sit though, it was just me. I am only one person with one set of knowledge and one, experience. Now we have this like deep bench, for lack of a better way of putting it, where we can ask questions of each other. Like I get stuck sometimes too. Like, hey, I ask people like, have you heard XYZ? So that's been a fun part for me of growing this, is that we can all be there and support each other. And like, it's me supporting you guys, but maybe you guys don't realize how much it's also you supporting me. So thank you for taking the time to come and chat with me today, as always.
No problem.
If you guys out there are interested in learning some more about Vinco, you can find us at vincoprep.com, and I will see you next time.